practice time, right? So this is about your theoric part. So today we are going to discuss about the education, right? Education in extension and communication. So when you think about
The knowledge of something.
okay, giving knowledge of something, good. What else? What is education? Oh, what do you think of it? Different types of education. Yes, there are different types of education. What are the types you know? Types of education. Okay, sectors like government schools. So first, when we think about education, the school will come into our mind, right? And first of all, the first, when we are in the childhood, when we think about education, the first thing come into mind is normally your school or preschool, like that, right? What else? Everyone have different views, right? That's why I'm asking about what do you mean or what do you think about education? It's a process, right? It's a process of okay. So education, it's a process of training and instruction, introduction or training for enhancing, um, designed to enhance knowledge, changing the attitude, and develop the skills. Right? There are certain goals of education. So education is not only studying the thing, not only getting knowledge. It is addition to the knowledge gaining. There should be a change in the attitude, right? You should, when you learn something, you should practice that one, or otherwise um, you should show some behavior of educated, right? So educated is not the school learning or university learning. It's a lifelong process, right? Education. Sometimes you will be getting that one from uh, like formal institution of schools, universities, colleges, or training centers. They will provide like formal education. The formal education means that there are set of um, there are set of curriculums, or there are set of designed education or course contents, so they will go through with it. Those are formal thing. Informal means there are no any specific curriculums or anything. The way of informal education is like, so the knowledge gaining, and when you are educated you should have some changes in your attitude, right? And there is a skill development process that certainly you will develop some skills, right? Maybe a communication skill, leadership skill, or there are a lot of skills, right? There are soft skills and hard skills, so you can improve your skills from the education. So this is the basic definition of education. When you think about education, it's a kind of a process. That means that will happening, right? So from the date of born up to death, every human undergoes with education. Every day we learn something. Sometimes from the formal education centers, sometimes from informal things, Another thing is the lifelong process. From the experiences, we learn something. So if we have an experience regarding of it, the next time we will perform better, or we will correct the previous mistake, right? So we will make our opportunities more better than the past experience. So experience is also one of the kind of education that will improve us, right? So this is that process. In the sense of education, we can broadly divide it into three categories. So here, formal education, non-formal education, and informal education. So you should know what are these, right? What are these and how they will be important for you. Formal education means already I have said that there is certain organization, their main goal or their vision is give formal education to the students. Students may be children, adults, or whatever, right? So their formal education is occurring. Like schools, universities, they are providing the formal education. They will be having set of rules, right? Rules and regulation, and there is a particular curriculum. So if we talk about the schools, our schools they are performing under Ministry of Education, and you will be having every grade. So for every grades you will be having your set of curriculum, right? So based on the curriculum only they will be going through your formal education. So you will be having again theory classes, practicals, like that. You will be having different set of educations, right? So that is about formal education most of the time. Or we consider university, you will be having your every courses are going through with the curriculum, right? So if there is a subject like agricultural extension, you will be having certain things. So we can't teach you beyond that one. Yeah, we can teach something near to the curriculum, right? We can't go beyond the curriculum. So there is a set of things. So we should follow the curriculum. Likewise, every agriculture faculty, every agriculture extension education course, they have certain curriculum and they will have some certain content. We should follow that thing. And this formal education is occurring in an institution. You should follow some rules and regulation in that institution. So when you have to study, you should physically present for the lectures, right? Like if it is a university, the student should physically attend the lectures, or otherwise if it is an online class, they should attend the online platform, and you should compile with the 80 percentage attendance, and you should abide the rules and regulations that is provided by the particular education center. So you should be formal, right? Sometimes if we take about the school, you should follow some rules, like you should wear the uniforms, right? So you should wear your white uniform, and there is a particular kind of tie, ribbon, or particular something that is related to the particular school. And yeah, you should wear the costumes like shoes and your hairstyle. Everything should be formal, right? They will have certain set of things, and you should follow the school. And there are set of not only the education, not they are educating the subjects. Other than that, there are sports activities, games, and physical education, right? Then you'll be having competition, like that. Everything will be going on the formal. So the schools will be monitored by um, zonal education. Then that will be monitored by provincial education or Ministry of Education, like that. Everything will be happen in a formal way. So university too, right? So if it is a university, then that is falls under University Grant Commission. So they will be the responsible person for you to carry out the curriculums or whatever happening in the this formal education sector, right? So that is the formal education, everything happening in a formal way, right? The second category, that will be the non-formal education. So here, that is organized in out of school settings. School means maybe university too, right? So our extension education is, we can consider that one as a non-formal education, right? So non-formal education means there are no any set of rules. So if it is an education, like there is a um, field demonstration training happening in the Department of Agriculture, who are the persons respondents? Farmers, right? If we are calling the farmers for that education program, so farmers are the students there, right, in this non-formal education. So um, you can't have any set of rules. Farmers, they don't follow much rules, right? So, and another thing is, in the non-formal education, the channel of giving communication to the farmers, you should have some different from the what we did in the school or university system. So there we can follow same procedure for every student equal. If it is a whiteboard and marker or blackboard teaching or slides, you can every students will understand the things, because everyone is going through with a certain formal education. If the people in the grade 11, they will surely studied and passed out the grade up to grade 10, and every person's educational qualification are more or less equal. They can be in the same position of understanding in the formal education. But here in the non-formal education, your respondents, maybe the farmers or the people who are coming for the non-formal education, they are in certain level of educational level. Some may passed out university graduates, some may be school pass out, some may be grade 5. So their level of education, their level of qualification, educational qualification may differ. Their level of understanding the technology and understanding the digital things also differ. So you should follow some different ways to reach the non-formal educated education, right? In the, if it is a farmers group, certain different set of people are there. Some people can easily understand what you show in the slides. Some people even can't read the things. So you should make more clear the things about showing some kind of convenient ways, like video, right? You should teach in a video, or you should teach in the maybe you can use some field demonstration and show them. So mostly the way of the channel of reaching those people will differ between people, person to person, because of their different different things, like their educational level. Sometimes the age will be different in the non-formal education. Some people may be old, some are younger. So younger people easily attracted and easily understand the technological things, right, when compared to the older people, right? And another thing is the culture may be affected. So people from different culture, they will coming for this education process. So on the time, you should give some importance to their culture. Sometimes you need to follow something, right? So you should look over age, culture, yeah, their educational background, their income, their financial status, like that. You should consider, and you should design the particular education process on that way. Every way will not be suitable for all the people. So you should find out which is the best way of reaching the people who are studying as a non-formal or in the extension education. You should fix who are the people and how can we reach. So that's why we are studying different types of teaching aid in the agriculture extension. So every each and every teaching aid will be differ with unique features. So some are useful for educated, some. So if it is a questionnaire, so questionnaire is useful when the people are literate. Otherwise, you should follow some other kind of way. Or you should go for a verbal conversation, right? So you should get some interviews from the farmer rather than having the questionnaire, because they will not okay for the questionnaire. So certainly you should decide. So non-formal education is a kind of a different thing from formal education, and every respondent is different. So you should fix the particular teaching aid which will be helpful in your education. Not everyone will like your presentations or slides. Farmer will boring out, right? So you should find out. Sometimes you need to show some videos, because when rather than showing or talking something, when you show some videos regarding the process or regarding some working examples, they will easily understand from that, right? So that is how the non-formal education is happening as extension education. That's why that is more important. The third category is the informal education. So informal means that is a kind of unorganized, also out of school. We can consider this as a lifelong learning. So, what is happening as an experience, what is happening in day to day life will be your informal education, right? So, that may be reading out a newspaper, or when you are interested, you can search out from the Google or net or whatever you are studying. Sometimes it will happen automatically, sometimes you will be keen to reach the knowledge sources, right? Some people are really interested to read something or knowing about something. Those are falls under the informal education. So that is depend on person to person, right? Some people will be interested, some are not interested. In the formal education, when reaching the people, that will reach equally. But in informal education, that is usually depends on person and their family background and their personal interest. So if they have interest only, they will search for the thing and they will look for information, right? So when you consider your batch, how many of you are interested in reading a newspaper daily? So that is a kind of informal education, right? So only some amount of people or few people will go through with the newspaper daily. So that is a good example. Likewise, this is a kind of a lifelong learning. So it will happen from birth to death, everyday learning. That is about this kind of formal, non-formal, and informal education. So, are you all clear with this? What is the formal one, non-formal one, and informal one?
Yes, ma'am.
So, you are asking about the classes. Private classes means you are asking the tuition classes. What are you asking?
Yes, miss.
Some of you. So those tuition, if it is a tuition class or private classes, right? Some dance classes or music, everything fall under this formal education, because they in their institution. So if it is a private tuition class, there is a institution that is providing you, so that is fall under formal education. The school means not only the schools, the institution like school, right? Okay. So then we can look about some training programs, right? Trainings program. We can look training. So let me tell about training. In which situation usually trainings will occur? Tell me some situations. So uh, when the training occur usually. Let me tell some examples. When the training occur, when appointing to new jobs, okay, when you are appointing to some new jobs, you will be having some training, right? Then research. So research time, you will be having a training, okay. Pre-service training, okay, good. What else? What else? Tell me some examples when the trainings occur. So before introducing a new product to the field, okay, good. After finishing the colleges, yeah, when you are finishing the college or some education centers, they will be sending you to training, on the job training, orientation training, okay. Yes, orientation is also one of the training programs. You everybody know what is orientation training, right? You have the experience. What else? What are the training programs? So this is also a kind of education, right? Trainings, workshops. Okay, workshops. Good. Leadership program. Yeah, in the leadership program, that is a kind of training. Good. So here we can classify the training into three types. So the first category is pre-service training. What is this pre-service training? Service, right? That is a work. Pre means before the work, right? So that is the meaning. Pre-service training is, a process through which individuals are made ready to enter a certain kind of professional job. So when you go for a job, so you will be having a teaching or a livestock development officer or agriculture instructor. Usually, before entering into the work, you will be having certain kind of training program, right? So if it is a nurse, there is some training for the nurse, how you should behave in the organization, like that you will be having a training program, professional job. So this is not a common subject training. That is a professional training. So if it is a beautician course, if it is a beautician, they will be having a beautician training, pre-service training. Before going into the work, you will be having a training. So the people have to attend regular classes in a formal institution. That is important. A formal institution will provide you regular classes and need to complete a definite curriculum and courses successfully to receive a degree or diploma. What you have to do? You should go to the classes properly, you should attend them, and you should finish a curriculum. So they will be having, if it is a beautician course, they will be having what sort of makeups or what sort of facials or whatever, they will be having a curriculum. So you should finish those things, you should study them, you should practice them, and you should finish the total course successfully. After that, they will be providing a training certificates, right? Training certificates, maybe a degree or diploma or a NVQ or whatever the things they will provide you, that you are professionally qualified or you are professionally finished your training program successfully, right? So that is a kind of a pre-service training. How you understand? So usually this is occur in a formal institution. So if it is a agriculture instructor, they will be conducting some pre-service training. They will be teaching you what sort of crops you are going to practice, what are the animals, how you should behave in the farmer education classes, how to reach the farmers. Likewise, they will be having certain set of curriculums. So they will go through with those trainings. So the training program will be conducted by the higher officers from different sectors, and they will arrange some play activities. So training program is a combination of not only the education, right? You will be having practical sessions, you will be having some leadership sessions, and some play activities, group activities. Training program usually it's kind of a studying the things with fun, right? So they will be having different set of things. So once you've completed or once you finish your course successfully, they will be providing like a professional certificate or degree, right? You are qualified for the particular thing. Have you understand what is a pre-service training? Before going into the service, you will be getting. Yes or no? Have you understand what is a pre-service training?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So the next type is what is induction or orientation training. So this is something happening in the start of the thing, right? So when you this training is given immediately after your employment, before assigning responsibilities. This is actually when you're going into an organization as a worker or new recruited person, you will be getting immediately after the appointment, because you should know how to behave in the organization. So you will be having immediately after employment, before assigning responsibilities. Before assigning responsibilities means the gap between appointment and assigning duties. Between that, you will be started to introduce new employees in the organization and position. So in this training, usually employees are oriented towards the job roles, organizational culture, and rules and regulation to be adhered. So when you are entering into University of Jaffna, you had a orientation program. There, what did you had in the sessions? What about your orientation program? What sort of things you have get, when you are entering the faculty before studying the courses? That is the orientation time. Am I right? Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
That is the period, right? So before, when you are entering, immediately after the entering and before assigning to your study activities. So that is about your orientation. So what sort of things you have educated or trained during the orientation time? The same things, right? So when you are recruited in a new job, you will be teach about what about the organization, what is the purpose, so what are their goals, and what about the job role of the particular person. So if you are a first year student, you will be taught regarding your role in the organization. So you should be aware about the rankings. You should abide some rules and regulation in university. Usually the school education is some kind different from the university. So there the classes. Here you will be calling that as lecture halls, and you will be having the class time and the timings, right? You should enter by 8 o'clock and leave by 4:15. And what about your lunch break time? What about your tea break time? And how about the lecture times? And they will be telling different things. And what are the departments here? What are the additional things you can get? Medicine facilities, library facilities, auditorium, playground, physical education, counseling, nearby shops, canteen, like that. You will be training during that period regarding the particular organization. Likewise, if you are say if you are recruited in the particular job, Like if you usually whatever job you are recruited, usually you'll be having a probationary period or a induction period. Sometimes it will differ between the job to job. If it is a private job, usually that is the labor law, that is 3 months is your training period. So first 3 months you should be in the training. Your salary will be not same as the usual salary. They will be providing a small salary and they will provide a training. So after successfully completing those training only, you will be permanent for the particular job. So that is the probation period. So if it is a private company you are entering, so they will be practicing you to the different works, and they will be telling you the roles, what you have to perform, and how you can achieve their target. And organizational culture, that means the dressing, the way of doing the things, your meals, everything. The organizational culture includes everything. What about your transportation? Sometimes some offices, they have their office transportation, office canteens, or office meals, and certain costumes you should wear. If it is a supermarket, you should wear some kind of uniform. If it is a garment factory, you should wear some kind of uniform. So the rules, regulation you should follow, right? So those things will be explained during this induction or orientation training. Is it okay? If it is a bank, you will be allowed to training in the bank for a certain period. So that time you should be teach everything. You should be in the cashier, then in other section, boarding section, like that. Everything will be teaching to you during the training period. Yes, you should understand. Have you clear about this induction training?
Yes, ma'am.
Or the orientation. So you think yourself as a orientation and you can write about this. Have you understand this one? Orientation training.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So the third category is in-service training. What is this in-service? In-service means what? During the service, you will be having some training program. Usually, this is happen mostly for the staff development purpose. Staff development means already if it is a Department of Agriculture, we have different set of staff, but sometimes we need some improvement in the staff. For example, if we have to make some digitalization in the office, we should improve the staff from manual work to digitalization. So we should carry out some training program to the staff, right? Likewise, every organization they have in-service training. Usually that will happen mainly for the leadership qualities they will be having. So the ultimate target is to improving the performance of the employees. So we should improve the performance. We should come out from some kind of development in the staff attitude, knowledge, right? So usually it promotes the professional growth of individual, right? Professional growth means the growth or the development in a particular thing. If it is a bank staff, so we if we are carry out some leadership qualities, so that will certainly reflect in their communication skill, their leadership skill, their promotions, like that. It will help, right? So it is a problem centered. Problem centered means you will be carry out a training for a problem. If it is a problem in their leadership quality, or sometimes language problem, language improvement, also some training. So if it is a office that is usually having one set of language, so say for example, if the office people are most Tamil speaking, they will be having a training program on Sinhala language improvement and vice versa. So those are problem centered, particular for some issues, and learner oriented. So it's upon the learner oriented means the problem will be started from the people who are going to attend, so they will tell that we have some problem in speaking Sinhala, or we have some problem, or we need some kind of leadership training, like that. It will come from the learner, right? And time bound series of activities, so it will bound to time. That means you will be having a three days in service training. Sometimes, we can't conduct the training during the working hours. It will go for weekend time, or it will scheduled half day from the work. Likewise, it will usually happen, right? So usually the working hours will be not added to this training program, and which help the employees to update it with new information and to organize this information to solve actual field problems. So usually it happens. So if there is a new problem in field or anything, we will be having the training, because we should aware the officers first. Then after only they will make some awareness in the people. So this is the kind of in-service training. So this is about training. So you should differentiate the three types of training, how it is occurring, right? So the pre-service training, and orientation training, and in-service training. You should know what are these, why it is, what is the purpose of these trainings, and you should know some examples. You should say, if it is an in-service training, you should say some examples when it is occur. Usually it happens for the professional growth of the people, right? People in the offices. So sometimes for the development officer, sometimes for the instructors. Likewise, the training will be occur. This is not only for the junior level staff, it will happen for sometimes the whole office or some senior staff. In any stage of the staff work, they will conduct this in-service training. Usually, this training will be conducted. The resource person, we see the person who is conducting this training as resource person. Usually, they will be coming from different background. Maybe higher officers, maybe sometimes from the particular profession. If it is a training program related to computer or software or any kind of ICT development, they will be coming from those sectors. If it is from banking, financial side, or sometimes the training program happening for the management of the work, sometimes for the leadership qualities. So the best leadership resource persons will be coming, and they will be having the in-service training, right? So this is must. The training is important in every stage, right? Before work, during the work, onset of work. Those are the three main types, right? Before work, onset of work, when you are starting the work, during the work, when you are doing work, right? So you also have faced different kind of training programs during the during the university. Usually, there is a training program occurred for mushroom production by Department of Biology. What is the type of training is that? What is the type of training is that? In which category we can classify that? So there is a training program happen, right? You understand what I'm asking? There is a certain training program happen for the farmers, no? By Department of Biology, um, for mushroom production, vermiculture, like that. What is the type of training program is that? Which category? I'm asking which category. Is it a pre-service or in-service or orientation? What type?
In service.
In service. What is the type is that? There are different answers coming. That is a kind of a pre-service training. Why? Why it is a pre-service training? They are ready the particular people for a professional job like mushroom production or vermiculture, and they are attending regular classes in the formal institution like university, and they are successfully finishing the course, and they will receive a diploma or certificate. What is the type of training is that? Why you say that is a orientation? Let me tell the reason why it is a orientation training. Do they are going to starting their career here? Why it is orientation? Some people have say, orientation and some say about in service. That is not in service because they are not the people who are coming from any institution, or we are not having the classes for any institution staff. That is not in service. First, you should understand the three types of services. That is a pre-service, that is a pre-service training before going into a job, right? Before starting the mushroom production, they are attending the classes in this institution, right? Yes or no?
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we will continue this after the training in the next practical, right? So the practical sessions were completed, Thursday we will meet for the remaining things in the education, right? So I think it's, time up. Any questions? Shall we wind up?